Are you an HR department of one, trying to figure out how to balance task and strategy while keeping up with changes in regulatory compliance? Do you need a fresh outlook on old topics? Then stop what you're doing, grab your coffee, and get ready to recharge. If you have people, you have problems to solve and things to do. Your host is Brenda, a 20-year human resource professional, ready to explore the HR industry with veterans of business and life with fresh eyes and new ideas. Learn about the rapidly evolving changes in employment law around the country, as well as new tactics to deploy and build engagement in your workforce. If you're looking to implement new practices to make your job easier in HR, then this podcast is for you.
Hey there, and welcome to the Best Practices in Human Resources podcast. I am Brenda, the HR lady, and I'd like to thank you for listening to the show. If you're a returning listener, thank you so much. You guys are awesome for coming back for another episode. Love having you here. And if you're a first-time listener, welcome, welcome, welcome. I am here to help share with you the what and the how in human resources because I am in the human business, and that means that there is a greater number of dynamics in the workplace to balance and manage. Oh boy, no kidding, right? Let's look at 2020. So today we're going to share with you, we're going to take a look at poster updates. We've got some employment law changes that are happening across the nation. Today we're going to be talking about improving the quality of your questions, and that's really kind of involving how to get a better outcome from your effort. And then I'm going to share with you a little bit later how to go ahead and get into the conversation. And before I begin, folks, the information that is available in this podcast is for informational purposes only and not for the purpose of providing any form of legal advice. You should contact your attorney to obtain legal advice with respects to any particular issue that you may be having. And if you do not have an employment attorney, go ahead, reach out to me. I will be happy to go ahead and refer one to you through our friends over in Jackson Lewis. All right, so everybody's favorite, poster updates. Here we go. We've got posters that are going into effect on January 1st for the following states. And I'm going to tell you how you can get posters and get 25% off without having a ton of harassing spam mail coming to you through snail mail. So here we go. Colorado, Massachusetts, Missouri, Montana, Nevada, Pennsylvania, Minnesota, Washington State, Vermont, Maine, South Dakota, Montana, Ohio, Arizona, and Florida. You guys all need posters by January 1st. So those states again are Colorado, Massachusetts, Missouri, Montana, Nevada, Pennsylvania, Minnesota, Washington State, Vermont, Maine, South Dakota, Montana, I think I said that already twice. Yep, I did. Ohio, Arizona, and Florida. Okay, so what you guys can do is go visit our friends over at laborlawcc.com. That's Labor Law Compliance Center. Their website, www.laborlawcc.com. Use the code POSTERS2020 through December 31st, and you can get 25% off on the purchase of your posters. So, all right, guys, holidays, not much going on, which is not a problem, but congratulations, we have definitely passed the bill that has expanded the PPP and has also made some leave provisions as well, and there's going to be some more information that is going to be coming down the pike. Everybody's clamoring on this, and if you guys have been getting a lot of information as to what you can do, what you can't do, by all means, please continue to watch that because there is a lot to this, and it's a 5,000 some odd page bill, so that converted into a law. So there's a lot of detail that goes into that, so more information is going to be bubbling up.
There are approximately 2,500 members of the U.S. Special Operations Community who transition out of active duty military service every single year. The Honor Foundation has dedicated its mission to serving these elite individuals on their journey to prepare for life once they take off the uniform. In the past few years, we've begun our own journey to reach this number, launching 3 physical campuses in San Diego, California, Virginia Beach, Virginia, and near Wilmington, North Carolina, along with a virtual campus to reach members of the community anywhere on the planet. I spent 26 years in the Special Operations community as a SEAL. I graduated from THF's program, I served on the board of directors, and now I'm proud to lead this organization into the future. to continue assisting these transitioning service members and their families. Our dedicated team, our world-class program, and our incredible tribes of supporters are standing by to help THF alumni and future fellows, and are committed to providing the best possible support system and resources to better serve this community. Our vision for the Honor Foundation is clear: to impact every transitioning service member from the U.S. Special Operations Enterprise through our programs and support, and to be a catalyst for overhauling the entire DoD transition program. It's a big task, but the community deserves it, and we're driving full steam ahead to make this a reality. If you've been inspired with what the Honor Foundation's done in the last 5 years, I welcome you all to join us as we craft the next chapter in defining what it means to serve others with honor for life.
Today I want to talk to you guys about improving the quality of your questions. And this is something that I know you all run into on a regular basis. Somebody sends you something and you think you've got all the information in order to give them a response back, but then it turns out that you don't. And I'll give you an example. I just got an email a little while ago that there was supposedly a problem with an employee's deductions, and I took a look at it, and the deductions are fine as far as the dollar amount goes, but what was incorrect was that it was a line offset in the data that was sent over to payroll. So instead of somebody saying, "Hey, it's here, take a look. This is where the problem is existing. Can you confirm this is correct or incorrect?" I get an email that just says it's wrong, and that's it. Like, no details whatsoever. So, so it takes a little bit more of, okay, so where are you seeing it? How it's going to go? So we know what that feels like, right? But vague questions will get you absolutely nowhere, and they're going to get you there fast. Just kind of like the experience that I just gave, vague information. Well, vague questions will do the same thing. Now, you've heard me speak on the dangers of asking questions in an open group, but you've also heard me speak on how you need to get good at researching answers to your HR questions, all right? So we've done a complete revamp of what was once called the membership resource site, which is something that I actually started 11 months ago. It served the purpose for quite a few people, and we've taken out elements of it that nobody was really showing any interest in, and kind of beefed up elements that help you guys be more effective in your jobs. Now, one of the most important elements that we've included, and it's a ton, and I mean, like, seriously, it's a ton of information, is around HR-related news, articles that are updated in the moment. And I'm so excited about this. So that includes state-specific employment news. And we've created a special section specifically for trial determinations as well. Now, I tell you all of this to tell you how you can level up your skills as an HR professional by doing these two things: research and read, and then ask for clarification. Now, many of you have already heard my story about how I came into the world of human resources, and if you haven't, I'm going to share it with you, a brief segment of it right here and right now. When I got the job, the person that I replaced, she moved to another department. And before she moved, she was tasked with training me on how to do the actual job. There's no training manual. And matter of fact, years later, I actually wound up writing the training program for this particular position when I actually moved to the corporate office. But there was no formal mentor program. There was no place for people in this position to ask questions except directly to another HR manager or an HR director who were dealing with anywhere between 8 to 12, sometimes 15 additional locations, and all of the employee issues that were involved with that. So my boss, Tom, he's absolutely awesome. And by far, he's still one of my favorite bosses that I have ever worked with. Actually, he is my favorite boss that I have actually ever worked with. And he taught me from the very first day that if I had a question about something, to go into our company database, look up the policy, read it, and if I still had additional questions, to come talk to him about it. And that's exactly what I did. Now, I used that database so much that I got to the point where I could recant where it was, the title of the document, the page of the source I was looking for, and in addition to who actually created the document and who I could email with suggestions, questions, and other remedies. That's how often I went in and out of this database. Now, granted, I understand not a lot of people have this, right? But when I started going back to school in 2005, and then eventually rolled into my major in 2007, which was HR management, I was an absolute beast at finding cases, case law, policy examples, resources, and tools, because I was now conditioned to do exactly that. Find the answer through research. And in this world of digital media, there is so much information out there that it exceeds the amount of information that was available when I first really, truly was coming up through the ranks and going through my formal education. There's so much more out there. And along with digital media and the use of smart technology, we've become very... Well, you know, I love you guys, and I'm just going to say it, but we've become very lazy when it comes to looking for answers to our questions. All right. We like that instant gratification. We do. All right. And I saw this trend taking place immediately when we actually launched our very first HRIS program, and it had an employee self-service portal as well as a manager self-service portal. And people were not going to the technology to find what they were looking for. Now, this was in 2003. That I can understand. Because this was a new beast, right? Being able to go in and look for something in a computer was everybody's dream, but it was a new beast and not everybody understood the concept of it. And I got that. But the database administrators for our internet, she was so good at putting the appropriate keywords in that if somebody searched for a keyword, it would come up with something and not necessarily, the person wouldn't necessarily have to know the title, right? It was absolute genius. And it was actually very early on in HRIS technology that anybody was really even considering doing something that. She was so good, she actually took words and misspelled them to put them in as keywords, as people would commonly misspell, words that they were looking for. So it was really good. But employees were extremely lax at going through and trying to find any information that could help them out. They would come to my doorstep, ask the question, and expect me to regurgitate 300 pages of information that they really should be reading about online. Now, spitting out all that information, that was not my job. What my job was at the time was to answer questions if people had a challenge understanding the information or needed a clarification. And that put me in a position of being a liaison between the employee or the leadership or our company office around a lot of these matters. Now, it got so bad. It got so bad that I was introduced one time at a company party, at a company holiday party, to our sales manager, one of our sales manager's wives, and he says, "Oh yes," he said, "this is such and such. He's our general manager here, and I'd like you to meet Brenda. Have you read the instructions yet? Neck Vodel." And I looked at my boss, and we were all laughing. I said, "That's it. I want a raise." Because if I can get somebody who understands that, I've done my job. All right. But I see the same thing today. In a world where we have so much more information, we have access to faster information, but I still see the same behaviors, all right? And that is people are not taking advantage of the rich, and I mean seriously, exhaustively rich amount of information that is out there today in order to get their questions answered efficiently. Now, I see that as an individual gap, and I hear a lot of people come up with the excuse of, I just don't have the time. And I'm going to give you the solution to finding time to research important matters because I do it myself. I stay off my phone. I stay off social media during the day. I'm also incredibly disciplined when in the tasks that I need to accomplish for whatever I set out to do. All right. I don't overload myself. I do what is reasonable and achievable, but I also make sure that I look ahead to the next day to see if I have to move anything to the right, meaning that I have to push a task off a little bit. But I always tackle the most important and the most difficult ones first. Right, especially the ones that I know I'm not going to have fun with. Just get those things right out of the way. When you do that, you tend to free up a lot of time and you forget that mental angst because you're not going to go through the conversation of, oh my God, this is just going to suck, right? One of these challenges that people are having when it comes to researching information or researching answers to the questions is that they're using a search engine like Google, which I now call Google HR. And it's SEO'd to the point where if you're looking for something specific, it is likely buried under a ton of other stuff. So what people do instead of spending countless amounts of hours looking for information, they go into open chat rooms. They go to Facebook groups that are not moderated. They come to ours, which is really great, and they ask awesome questions. We actually had a few come through in just the last couple of days, which is fantastic. But these open chat rooms can be extremely dangerous, and here's the reason why. When somebody asks a question, they are expecting a little brain dump or quick keys to getting the answers with the least amount of resistance. And if you know anything about people, because we do, that's the job that we're in, we know about HR to the degree that nothing is ever clear or nothing is ever straight in the field that we work in, nor is it ever black and white. And in the beginning of this COVID pandemic, I saw so many people using ADA as an excuse to engage with their employees on this spreading virus. Now, in all fairness, back then, we didn't really know what we were heading to, in this direction. I kind of had a guess simply because I saw how fast it spread over in China, and I was preparing my people for this as well. I was in Chicago, running through a major airport. I saw what was going on. And I'm a crisis expert, which means that I know it when I smell it, and I'm conditioned to respond to it in a very specific manner. But for the most part, people were not ready for this, all right? Not just HR, but like everybody. And I started the good fight in reminding that ADA doesn't necessarily qualify for a virus, because a virus is typically something that becomes obsolete after we develop the antibodies, or it is not under or qualifies in the definition of what a disability is under ADA, right? It could under temporary, but we weren't there yet. So many people were screaming out ADA. This is an ADA claim. This is an ADA situation, and you have to treat it as such. No. And if you're in the Next Gen Women in Facebook HR, let's try that again. Next Gen Women in HR Facebook group. I got it all backwards. If you're in the group, you may remember me. You may remember seeing this post. Stop it. That's basically what my theme was. Don't do this. Don't go there. You got to go deeper into the information, right? So in addition to that, people were also not taking into consideration the full aspect of everybody's scenario, and therefore HR people in the agency who were asking these questions were in fact only getting part of the answer, right? That's the danger about these groups. So you guys have heard me say this recently, that in HR, the 70-40 rule doesn't work. Okay, gaining only 70% of the information in order to make a determination is dangerous in HR, and that's exactly what was happening. So the quality of questions are going to be dictating the quality of the answer. Let me say that again. The quality of the questions are also going to dictate the quality of the answer. The quality of your research is going to dictate the quality of your questions. And the quality of your answers you receive is going to dictate the quality of your response. Huge. And with that reason, this is why I've made changes to our online database information. Spending 30 minutes a day, preferably first thing in the morning, when you're at your freshest, when you have a cup of coffee in hand, hopefully maybe a little bit of quiet time for yourself. This is the best time of the day to log into the site, peruse the headlines, maybe read a couple of paragraphs, just to even stay on top of current events. At least you're making you're aware of stuff that's happening. And doing so, you get enough information to stay up to date on developing information in this field. But you also know that when you're entering into a 70-40 situation, okay, you will know that there's more to what's going on, and you now know where you can go to get the clear answers to your question. Now I want to share it with you in this little secret of mine. HR is kind of like a soap opera, and I'm not talking about, the drama, the funky storylines. I'm talking about if you walk away from employment news in this field for a specific period of time, the cast of characters in the plot line doesn't necessarily change very quickly. And likely within just a very short period of time, you'll be able to pick up again on what's happening on. When I left my ADP position and I went to go temporarily work, let me backtrack, it wasn't ADP, it was CarMax. And I went to go work as an ops position with another retail outlet. I didn't really pay attention to what was going on to HR. When I got back into the HR field full-time in 2011, it took me all of 3 weeks to get back into it from literally being absent of it for 2 whole years. I had the principles down. I knew that these were big laws that weren't changing anytime fast. Maybe there was a couple of shades, inside of the crooks and the nannies of it, but the principles were all still the same. Treating people how we expect to treat people, that all stayed the same. So it didn't take long for me to get back into it again. So this is a really great opportunity for you guys to get really good at developing the quality of your questions by developing this new habit. One new habit going into 2021. Not a resolution, a habit. Totally different, right? So here's how you do it. Jump on to the BrendaTheHRLady.com website, click on the Next Gen Women in HR link, and try the updated site for 30 days. The site will cost you less than 3 cups of coffee a month, and your return on investment is going to be absolutely massive. There's videos, downloadable resources, and not to mention the most important piece, which is the now massive HR newsfeed that literally delivers a ton of current information and HR updates weekly and daily, and specifically includes state HR updates as well. That's huge. Being able to get access to certain states at a certain period of time is awesome, and we're continuing to build on that. So the states that we don't have in right now, my goal in the next 2 months is to actually get all 50 states built. You've got it here. You've got my commitment. In 2 months, by the end of February, all 50 states will have new feeds coming in. Okay. New states are continuing to be added as we source out that information, but this is some of the richest content that is pulled into one portal that I have yet to see anywhere, and it's incredibly affordable. I mean, it's less than 3 cups of coffee for the whole month, less than 3 cups of coffee a week for a subscription for the entire month, all right? In addition, we also have a 30-day love it or get your money back guarantee. So if you don't like the site within your first 30 days, you can go ahead and cancel, and I'll be happy to go ahead and refund your money for you. So that's what we've got today. And I'm going to challenge you guys going into 2021, really challenge yourself and do what you need to do to improve the quality of your questions. Understand that you guys can go research the information more so now than any other time in this field, in this profession. And if you're not taking advantage of that, you are cutting yourself short. You are shortchanging yourself, and you are really just robbing yourself of the opportunity to grow and expand and just be more for you. So that way you can apply it to the company you're at, or you can take what you're learning, grow, and apply it somewhere else down the road in the future to somebody else. All right. But it never fails. People are still going to need you. So get better for you, because you'll eventually be better for everybody else. Now, you know that one of the biggest things that I talk about consistently in almost everything that I do is finding a way for you to take care of yourself. It is super important. It's even more important now that we're seeing the increase of COVID cases across the U.S., and it has become more critical than ever. And really, not only recovery, but making sure that your immune system is nice and boosted up. So yes, you have the increased risk of contracting COVID, but most importantly, that means that more work on your part is going to be taking place, dealing with everybody else who is also catching it, the concerns of catching it. Are we going to, what are we going to do with the vaccines? All that other good stuff, okay? That equates to a big drain on your system. Now, I care about everybody's ability to rest and recover. Huge focus of mine. So this is what I don't get paid for any of this, right? I just want to share with you what it is that I'm actually doing that could potentially help you guys stay healthy as well. So first and foremost, I tap into the MASF. That's M as in Mary, A as in Alpha, S as in Sam, F as in Foxtrot. MAS Multi. It is a plant-based multivitamin. It is actually formulated and put together and sold by a former U.S. Navy SEAL named Mitch Aguiar, and his company is called MASF Supplements. You guys can go ahead and definitely hit him up. He also has another product called Smashing Greens, which I actually now use to replace one meal a day. And it's just super intense, like really, really, really rich nutrients, plant-based nutrients, greens. And that actually fills me up. Actually making my grocery bill come down too, by the way, because I don't get as hungry anymore. I also use our friend Will's Naked Warrior Recovery Immunity Booster. Now, I take the multivitamin immunity booster in the evenings, and I consume the Smashing Greens as a meal replacement. But I also use Will's Naked Warrior Recovery Super Greens if I get any midday snacks and urges, because those things do come up. And it's not necessarily as nutrient rich, but it is a great way to get good food, a good supplement, good nutrition into your system without pulling over to McDonald's, which I did wind up having a little hot fudge sundae kick for a little while, totally ending up to that one. And I just started actually taking the Truline immunity shot. And this, I'll tell you something, this thing will get you going. It's got a B12 boost, but it also has other components in it that will help drive your immunity up. And I don't get sick. I don't get sick for several reasons. I don't consume sugar anymore. I go up and down on that one, but right now I'm on a no sugar kick. And I definitely make sure that I do that through the winter months, because I just simply don't get sick when I don't have sugar in my system. Okay. And the other thing is that I focus on my recovery. I make sure that I get rest at night. I use, Will's Naked Warrior CBD gummies to start slowing my thinking down, so that way I can really relax before I actually go to bed. I'm not tossing and turning and stuck in my head thinking about work, because I will. Awesome stuff. So if you like to learn more about these things, definitely by all means, follow me on my social media platforms, where you will actually see how and when I share more information about that. Now, I got to tell you, it is amazing to me that 2020 is over in just a few days, okay? Because it still feels like March to me when we first learned about the coronavirus and it arrived. And I feel like that's the only thing that we've been talking about this year. How to deal with it, the PPP, and leave pay. All right, that's it. But we know that there's so much more that's happened really in spite of the pandemic and in spite of the crisis that has impacted our businesses. And we still have to adhere to compliance and come up with a strategy on how to get things done. Well, January 21st at 1 p.m., we are launching a brand new HR compliance and strategy mastermind. Now, you might be asking, what is a mastermind? Mastermind is actually a phrase that was coined by Napoleon Hill. And it's where a group of people will come together with a common set of objectives and work to achieve great success. It's an awesome program. And matter of fact, tomorrow we're going to offer a free sit-in. Okay, we're going to spend the next 12 months participating in 4 quarterly mega sessions and weekly Q&A sessions where we walk through a full year of compliance requirements, and I share with you how to implement them using HR strategy and how you can build your HR strategy. So we're going to do a deep dive into the tactical side of HR and help you create your strategy on accomplishing your compliance requirements. Now, the sit-in is actually taking place on the 30th at 1 p.m. And if you haven't gotten an email, because you may not be signed up on my list, hit me up on social media and I will get you the information. And that's 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, okay? What you're going to see in this free sit-in is you're going to get a portion of a mega session, all right, and understanding what that looks like. And we're going to actually talk about a real HR compliance requirement so that you're also going to get the benefit of walking away with some helpful information that will possibly come up for you in January. So if you'd like to get in on that, please make sure that you jump on my mailing list today or before 1 p.m. in Wednesday by this week. So then that way you can take advantage of the information that is coming out on this free session. All right. Even if you decide not to do the mastermind this go around, I want you to be successful no matter what. Now, we've also nearly sold out and we'll be reprinting again the HR Planner. And if you'd like to take advantage of getting that head start on the new year, you can get ahead of the game by ordering your copy, and you can still get 15% off using HR Planner 21 until December 31st. All right, that's only 2 days away. Christmas is come and gone. But if you are an HR champion, you can gift yourself one or send one to a friend that you know who could be struggling, because really there's still no better time right now than to extend a helping hand in this challenging world that we're in, because HR still has to function even in the light of COVID and how it's wreaking havoc across this world. So, right? Crazy stuff. All right. I got an interesting question that came through. It still makes me laugh. But it's true because I've seen it. I've dealt with it. And if you guys have an HR question, I love reading them. Go ahead and you can submit your question on the website at brendathehrlady.com and click on the podcast link from the menu. And down towards the bottom of that page, you'll be able to find the submission form for you to go ahead and post your question, which I will read and answer on an episode. So here's the one that came in recently. It says, we have an employee who's eating food from the break room refrigerator that belongs to other employees. How do we deal with this? So I laugh at this because years ago when I was at CarMax, there was a gentleman that I used to work with by the name of Will McCann, totally awesome guy. And Will was our director of training. And Will was also our key actor in all of the videos that we put out. And I mean, this guy, total corn dog, and he knows it, and I love him for it. And we still talk to this day. But he's just got that sense of humor. He's got that kind of je ne sais quoi that he does no qualms whatsoever getting in front of a camera and doing goofy things. Well, this was actually a subject that we put in when we did our annual ethics training. And somebody mooged up his face, and it was a conversation about him going into the refrigerator, and there's a video shot of this shiny bald head coming out, looking up at the refrigerator, this big, huge teeth grin, smile on his face, and he's got chocolate icing just all around his lips, and he's like, what? I haven't seen your chocolate cake. And it was kind of, I'm sorry, it's just one of the things you have to see, but it was one of the funniest moments that I've seen. There's another one that I won't even bother talking about it, but to this day, I still see it flashing in my head, and we still laugh at it. But to answer the question, it's taking somebody else's food, eating somebody else's food in the refrigerator is stealing at the end of the day. And it involves a conversation. It's like, look, man, if you're doing this, you need to stop. Okay. If you're not doing it, do you by chance know who is? All right. You may not get a straight answer. You more than likely aren't going to get a straight answer. Or if somebody said, but you could have that one employee that comes up and says, I feel horrible for saying this and I'm embarrassed, but this is the only time I get to eat. And now you've got a bigger issue that you got to deal with, right? So just having the conversation, more than likely, if you start asking around about it, it's going to stop. But look, these are hard times out there right now. And again, we're in the human business. And that's the one thing about this business, this field, and this career of choice that we're in, is that every now and again you get an answer that literally just peels your skin right off. And you fall to the bottom of your stomach. And the one situation where we did have somebody going into the refrigerator was not somebody coming out and saying, this is the only time that I get to eat. But I have had employees in the past that have struggled to eat. So we've done things to help them out. But, just remember, straightforward conversation. This is not a hard thing to do. And if somebody admits to it, tell them to stop. And if they continue it, believe it or not, you actually can consider separating from them for theft of property within the company. Question is that the direction that you want to go in? So, all right. Over in the Next Gen Women in HR community, you guys, we're having real conversations with real awesome human beings in real time. And, this is an exceptional group of people that are coming into their own with their role. We've got a lot of people looking for similar things. And, we're just going to invite you in. It is the Next Gen Women in HR community. It's an awesome group of people and women and men. We're growing strong and fast. And we're about ready to celebrate our 1-year anniversary on January 6th. And we're knocking on the door of nearly 300 people in this group. And I am looking forward to seeing what's going to happen in 2021. While you guys are at it, you're listening to this podcast, I would greatly appreciate it if you would jump on and do a quick, leave a review. That would be wonderful. A 5-star review is absolutely what we're going for. And if you'd like to connect with me on social media, you can find me on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter at Brenda the HR Lady. You can also find me on LinkedIn over at Brenda Neckvattle, and that is, my last name is spelled N-E-C-K, like the thing you want to choke, V as in Victor, A-T-A-L. I also co-host another show called The Real HR Show with the evil HR lady herself, Suzanne Lucas, who writes for Inc.com. She's contributed over 1,000 articles. She's a load of fun. And I'm on a new platform that is blowing up, and I am super excited about it. I actually got invited to join it. It is called Clubhouse. And some of you people may know about it, some of you may not, but this is an incredible platform that is the next big thing, and I am super excited to be part of it. And every day, Monday through Friday, 5 p.m., we're going to be talking about really, really awesome things. We've got topics, general conversation topics. We're going to be taking a look at getting ahead in HR and what some of those tips and tricks are. And then we're going to have another section called HR mentoring. We're going to do HR facts and myths. We're going to talk about HR for CEOs and business leaders. And then we're also going to do a segment called HR leadership. So yeah, it's exciting. Every day, Monday through Friday from 5 to 6 p.m. Cannot wait. It is going to be awesome, and I am so stoked. Matter of fact, today is the very first room that I am opening up and going to get in that. So again, that is Clubhouse. If you're interested in it, it's got a really great, awesome platform. Right now, you can only be invited into it. I only have one invite. So you're going to definitely have to put yourself on the waiting list. And if there's somebody out there who is familiar with the platform and has the ability to go and let you in, but I'm sure they'll do it. But alrighty, gang. So very exciting stuff. Lastly, you can also jump on the website at BrendaTheHRLady.com where you can connect with me directly. You can simply visit the website, click on connect at the top, and you can get my best practices delivered directly to your inbox. Guys, look, thank you so much for an awesome 2020. As crappy as it has been, I want to thank you for an incredible 2020. You guys have been a huge part of why this podcast has not won just an American Business Award, but it has also been recognized internationally with some big corporate names up at the top. We've won 3 awards this year, and we were submitted for 4. We won 3. And it's just fantastic. And it's in no small part to the fact that you guys keep coming back week after week. And I am so, so, so grateful for everybody. So thank you from the bottom of my heart. It would not be possible without you guys, because the feedback I get from you guys is I turn it right back around and put it back into the show, because it's what you want to hear. It's what you're asking for, and it's what you're looking for. And if we're able to actually get that information out to people who really need it, it's awesome. So thank you very much. So guys, I'm going to talk to you all next year. I have to wait until next year just to talk to you. So listen, have a safe, wonderful rest of your holiday season, and we'll talk to you